What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another very special From Screen to Shelf review. I am Chase, aka Wallet Bully Extraordinaire, here today to talk to you about what I wouldn't even say controversial, but it might be kind of like, why are you putting out this review with the issues and stuff like that? But I still think this is worth putting out there for people that just want the information, maybe curious. So I did want to do this review for the people that are curious about the state of opera right now. So before I dive into this, there are some issues with this disc. While I don't think that they're game breaking or anything, there's nothing that necessarily warrants to say that this is terrible in the state that it's in. It just could be better, and I will give you more thoughts on that. However, there is a replacement program that Severin just announced. It'll be 2 days ago as of the time of this recording going up for the issues that are on this disc that I will list out as well. And I probably will miss some of them because, like I always say, I'm not that critical whenever it comes to the way that I watch my movies. I bring in the story. I'm pretty critical of the story, but whenever it comes into the visual quality and fidelity, whenever it comes to the 4Ks, as long as it looks great and I'm pleased and everything, I'm just glad to be able to support a medium that I enjoy to support. So if you have already ordered this, they will be replacing it automatically. There's no steps needed. You should be getting it by September is what they're saying, and you can no longer order this until they start coming with the corrected discs. So now we do have the wonderful, the extravagant opera. I absolutely love this movie. I think it's an absolute masterpiece inside of its own genre, and I think it's one of Dario Argento's absolute best. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it while I go ahead and show you the view of everything. So this comes in a arrow style little full slip, just like this, with a little booklet, not as thick as we're used to. But one of the things I really do like is this does not come with the J card. This is the back. It's got a nice glossy finish to it. It doesn't have that cardboard or boxy feel that I really like from Arrow, but I really like how Severin's finding their own identity. And I like this a lot more than the Psychic one that they came out with, which just felt like I could blow on it like the Big Bad Wolf and it would all just, I'd blow the house down. So without further ado, this will take some time. This 4K is absolutely loaded with everything that any opera fan wants. So I'm going to break down what it comes with. And then after I finish that, and I'm going to showcase a little bit of the art, a little bit more of what's going in here, I'll talk about how I feel about the movie as well, and then give you a score on the state of how this transfer came in. So Dario Argento's Opera, one of his most underrated movies. Not enough people talk about this movie. There's tons of people that are Argento fans that haven't checked this movie out. If you are an Argento fan, please, for the love of everything, it's streaming free on Tubi. You can find it free so many places. You can rent it in so many places if you prefer to support it with your money. This movie is an absolute masterclass in its genre. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and break down what the visual quality is. And then I'm going to go ahead and break down the audio. Not necessarily review it quite yet, but go ahead and tell you what it is. So it does come with one BD100, three BD50s for some extras, as well as it does have inside of here. I can go ahead and show that. This is sticking. These right here, which one is the director's cut, and then the other one is the US cut / director's cut. The other one is the additionals extra disc, and the other one is a CD soundtrack. So you've got this right here between all of that. Love to see it. It's a full-on collector's edition at that point. So on disc 1 of the UHD, which again is a BD100, we always love to hear that. It does feature the audio commentaries featuring actress Christina Marsalak and Angel Sala, head of programming at the Sitges Film Festival, Alan Jones, author of Profondo Argento, and Kim Newman, author of Anno Dracula, Mondo Digital's Nathaniel Thompson, and Troy Howarth, author of Murder by Design, The Unsane Cinema of Dario Argento. That's all that is on the 4K disc. On disc 2, the director's cut / US cut in a 2.31:1 aspect ratio has all new interviews with co-writer, director, producer Dario Argento, screenwriter Franco Ferrini, and actress Christina Marsalak. On disc 3, the 1.85:1 director's cut has all new interviews with film historian Fabrizio Spirio and Alan Jones, conducting Dario Argento's opera archival featurette, including cast and crew interviews, Q&A with Dario Argento, Franco Ferrini, and Lamberto Bava as Cinema Farnese. Disc 4, just another additional special features Blu-ray. Interviews with actors Coralina Cadalditosoni. I am so sorry. Urbano Barberini. I'm just going to say the first names. I am so sorry. Antoniella and Daria, composer Claudio Simonetti. He kills it in this. This is one of the best scores in a thriller / horror movie you'll ever see or hear. Special effects artist Sergio, makeup artist Franco, Steadicam operator Nicola, press agent Enrico, and 4K color correction supervisor Kareem Hussein. Behind the scenes video created from archival footage, and again, exclusive soundtrack. I watched every single one of those. Now, this is going to be the little booklet right here. So while I'm showcasing a little bit of this booklet right here, it's got some absolutely stellar art in it. I'm going to go ahead and let you know how I feel about the movie. Then I'm going to break down everything I listed. I just wanted to get that out of the way while I was dissecting the package. So opera right here, as you can tell. So this lady right here, she is an opera singer performing in a play. And you have like a little Phantom of the Opera haunting situation going on, but with the next level added to it. So essentially what you see right here is the killer makes her witness all of the crimes. So what he does is he tapes her mouth shut and he'll like put her on like some type of post and put these needles under her eye so that way she can't blink. And if she does, it starts to bleed because it'll pierce her eyes. Really amazing, cool, interesting concept. So whenever it comes to the movie, like I said, and I can't say it enough, I think it's an absolute masterclass of its own genre. I think everything about it is absolute perfection. I think this is one of the most underrated movies of all time. For some people that might be tuning in on this, you might not find it underrated, but you'd be pretty surprised if you open up outside of the circle that you surround yourself with or the people that you talk to, the amount of people that haven't seen this. There's a staggering amount of people. This should be considered up there amongst the all-time classics, just like with his other ones with like Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Deep Red, and stuff like that, and Cat o' Nine Tails. This should be up there for that. And unfortunately, it's not. But, you know, in time, hopefully it definitely does. So whenever it comes to the movie itself, it's an absolute 10 out of 10 in my book. And I stand by that. It's a flawless movie. Absolutely everything about it is amazing. It's up there with Suspiria. If he didn't have Suspiria, or even if you want to just talk just pure Giallo, it's technically my favorite Giallo of all time because Suspiria is not a Giallo. It doesn't follow the tropes. It doesn't follow the standards of Giallo. It really sets its own standards, and it's much more of an American-made horror thriller movie with some supernatural elements to it for Suspiria. So this one definitely takes the cake whenever it comes to that. So like I said, 10 out of 10. Whenever it comes to the audio on here, it also has English 5.1 English stereo, Italian stereo, and Cannes English mono, which sounds awesome. You know, it definitely would have been nice to have an Atmos track because of how much highs I feel like I'm getting. Of course, it's not using those all the time. It's just absolutely stunning how much does get used for the 5.1, and it absolutely blows me away. Some nice overhead action would be really, really cool, and definitely some more 360 surround. But with what we have, it's perfectly fine. I always like to say I grade for what we've got, not what I want, right? So whenever it comes to the special features, absolute 11 out of 10. Some of these are in foreign language. Every single one of them provides an insight, detailed analysis into something, whether it be a different perspective or whether it just be some more insight into what's already existing in the opera world. Everything about it is just super awesome. This right here, whenever it comes to special features, is what we should be getting whenever it comes to these high sticker prices. And this is why this retails for $60 from Severin. And this is why I was happy to shell out that money for this, because this is a movie that I'm going to watch so much, I'm probably going to have to buy another 4K disc. I'm going to run this disc into the ground over the next few years. This is now going to be one of my most rewatched things in my entire collection, whether it just be for the Blu-ray or the special features itself or the audio commentary tracks. I am going to watch this until it is down to just this 4K UHD logo and the discs don't work anymore. That's how much I'm going to watch this. Now, every single person on here, Chase, finally, can you shut the hell up and just talk about this problems and everything that we're having with this opera disc? Yes, I am here to abide by that and give you what you want. I always like to focus on the positives first, so that's why I wanted to go ahead and talk about it that way. But let's go ahead and talk about the negatives. As much as I hate talking about negatives, it's always good to address those. Whenever it comes to opera, it does have some issues. Now, some of the issues, I believe there was an issue on their end with the REC 2020 coding. I, again, could be butchering that. Please feel free to correct me down in the comments below if I misspeak on anything or add any detail. I am not perfect. I am human. I will forget some things, and I will mess up on exactly what the issues are on this. Whenever it comes to this, the biggest issues is that the HDR just feels washed out. It doesn't have a lot of color to it. The Blu-ray technically looks just as good, if not slightly better, in my opinion, than the 4K. But the 4K is not bad. I do want to go ahead and preface this. Let's say Severin was just absolutely standing on business and they didn't give a damn about like changing this or anything like this. Would I be a little upset at the price tag? I'd probably want it to be more around the $45 price, which you can get standard non-LE around that, usually 35, 40 for everything. I'd be a lot happier. But with the state of the 4K, it's hard to recommend, and that's why I'm happy they are putting it out. The biggest issue that I noticed is the black levels looked really good, but it was an issue with the skin tones. Now, while it wasn't the absolute most jarring thing that I had ever seen in my life, or another thing by Severin, an issue that never gets talked about. If you've watched The Changeling, I'm not talking about like that levels of atrocity with this movie. Changeling is still one of the worst transfers I have seen. Yes, it is really bad. Like people are orange in that movie, and I don't know how that passed quality control, and they never fixed it. The second sight one is the best way to go because people look natural. People look pasty. You can see like the redness on their faces. You can see this right here. You see the arms on hair, like the hairs on arms. That's what you want, right? With this one, people don't look like overly pale. They just look like they're missing some of what makes our skin human, if that makes sense. Like right now, you can kind of see right here, like I've got this red right here, I've got this red right there, and then I get whiter right here, whiter right there, the blonde in here, and then the white, and then super red up here again, the curls whenever I bring up my eyebrows. I couldn't make out a ton of that. Honestly, if it wasn't for the uptick in certain parts of the details, like if you've never seen this right here actually shows it extremely well. And there's probably a picture of it inside of there. This crow is extremely important in this movie. Extremely important. Plays a very minor role, but very, very important for what it does have in there. And there's some close-ups of its eyes that are just absolutely insane and still one of the best looking things I've seen on the platform so far, or the format so far. It looks insane whenever they show that crow. The detail unruly. It is amazing, immaculate. But the crow isn't the focus. You have a ton of people. This is set during an opera, and you have a bunch of people in the audience. You have a bunch of people on the stage. You have a bunch of people performing. So you have a lot of different varying skin tones, but all of them look like they have the same exact skin tone. It looks very pasty. It didn't break it for me. In the current state that this movie's in, I would honestly give it about a 6.5 to a soft 7, if that sounds about right. It doesn't look atrocious. This is not a dumpster fire transfer. I don't care what anybody says. If we got this, I would really hope it. Let's say they weren't replacing this disc, in which I will do another review whenever I get that replacement disc and just update this one with the current, with the then current state of it. If this was all we had, I wouldn't be the most pissed off. I wouldn't. I would be like, okay, you know, the special features on here, being a mega fan, are everything that I want, everything like that. But it's not deal breaking. It just doesn't bring what we are used to, which is that color difference, that vibrancy difference, that contrast difference. Well, it does bring that for the most part, but not to the fullest extent. There's some crush in there whenever it comes to the video quality, especially because again, you have some very dark spots on the stage for the opera. So that's really the biggest issue that I noticed. Again, the HDR not really doing a whole lot whenever it comes to this. And again, they've acknowledged these issues. Those are the only two that I've noticed. I've seen other people talking about more, but I personally, and again, I don't nitpick. And you're more than welcome to. This is your hard-earned money. If that's the way you want to spend your time whenever you consume your media, that's awesome. More power to you. I'm here to enjoy the love of films, and I'm here to enjoy the love of owning some of my all-time favorite classics, or what I deem as classics and masterpieces, permanently on my shelf with no DRM. That's why I enjoy this hobby. I don't spend $60 to nitpick at why does she have a mustache hair right here. I just don't. So again, if you want to educate the community below, I know there's a bunch of Blu-ray forums on anything that I may or may not have missed down below in the comments. Feel free to fire off, let people know what's going on. But I think the problem is solved. You can no longer order this. You will be able to order it starting in September of 2024. And they will be coming with the corrected discs, and all of the ones for the ones that you've got now for whatever provider or anything, they will be automatically distributing them as far as I'm understanding. I'll even probably link down below the link for like the little page. They put up like a little flyer on their socials and stuff for the corrected disc. So again, as an entire package, I can overlook those issues. If this disc was even remotely an 8 or a 9, because the audio quality is about a solid 9, visual, like I said, like a 6.5 to like a light, very soft 7, if we want to talk in Anthony Fantano terms. So whenever it comes to that, the special features just carry so hard in this. I watched every single one and listened to every single audio commentary on here. This genuinely would be a 10 out of 10 package, even for its price. But I'm going to give it a 9 because of the state of the 4K. If it looked even remotely better for what it is, or if it even wowed me a little bit more, I think we'd be in a much safer place. However, that's not where we're at right now. So thank you guys so much for attending my press conference on Opera, letting me spew and go over the details. Again, like I said, I'm human when it comes to missing things. Whenever it comes to these, I'm not an overly critical person. Please sound off in the comment below and feel free to educate the community on any other issues. Or if you did get this disc, let them know about any other issues that you may have found, because it's always cool for people to know and look out for things if that's how they choose to enjoy their hobby. That's awesome. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my very special Opera 4K LE review. This is Chase with From Screen to Shelf, telling you to like, comment, subscribe, and please stay tuned for more content. As always, I cannot thank each and every single one of you for every single time you comment. We see all of them. Sometimes we don't reply to all of them because sometimes we don't know how, because sometimes we get some weird comments. But I promise you, we see all of them. Would love to see some more recommendations down below whenever it comes to the comment section. Let us know what you want to see. If it's a movie that we may have off the shelf or something that's older and you want to see us review it, tag us over in the Discord, which will also be linked down in the description below, or feel free to just hit us up in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much. See you again next.